is happening?
I feel like Richard Epcar is such a freaking legend that it's like,
he is.
Yeah.
You guys are coming live with us on Facebook and everywhere else. Sarah and I are fangirling currently over Richard. You're welcome to watch us fangirl just a little bit.
We are and I'm fangirling over you both. Okay,
I'm fangirling over you too, Sara Cravens, who does everything.
No one invited me.
Oh, we did. And do you know that they outed you last panel and told me that you're the third member of Slot Her.
You know
yes.
it. You know
New
it.
album coming out, apparently. I saw Kari doing an unboxing there.
Yes. We have an album coming out. You guys, I'm just the one who comes in with low notes every now and then and just says embarrassing things in between the songs. That's all I do.
Hey, there's one in every band. It's so necessary.
Yeah, I heard you're the resident jokester. So you're the life of the party. Is that all right?
I mean, check out the glasses, peeps. We know who the life is.
I have yet. Did you see, Sarah? Did you see my swimming trunks? They match your glasses. Did you see them?
Yes.
I love that. I'm so glad that you brought out.
I've got some celestite. Like, we're not mirrored. There's some celestite right here. So blue's a theme. Colorworld, Brad's got his blue on. We're all about. Yeah.
I got the memo.
We coordinated.
Just in time. I got that because I had a gray shirt on the panel before.
Oh, okay.
But something told me like don't wear the same thing. So
yeah, you were like, I gotta go teal. So
you gotta go Hollywood. We're like, look, 8 changes.
Love it. Looks great.
Oh man, so
you're the Paris Hilton of panels.
Yes. Man, so good to see everyone. Sarah, I got to tell you, you were a huge surprise. Right out of the blue, your agent swoops in. He's like, "How about Sarah?" And I'm like, "I basically say yes to everything. Let's do this."
I love it. I love it. He texted me at the last minute. And he was like, "Hey, they're doing this panel on Saturday. Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's work this out. Let's see.
It was such a pleasure to meet you. Like, you instantly brought all of your Sarah-ness. There's no H because H's are ew. Like, it was.
Thank you.
It was so fun. So, like, tell me your origin story. How did you get a microphone in front of you? Have you always been the class clown? Like, how did this go?
Yes, of course. I was not. You guys. Okay. I grew up in the South. Okay.
What state?
Have like a lot of things to do. So we always had to make stuff up. So anyway, then when I went to college, I worked at Dollywood. I was never.
Oh wow.
I was just being like a Southern kid, like having a side job. Anyway, but like that one's amazing. And then when I graduated college, I moved out here, and then I was doing comedy. So yes, I've always been I've always been the one that was like embarrassing and loud in the group. So it just
Yeah. So did you come to LA to do comedy and not acting?
No, I came to LA because I didn't know what else to do. I graduated college and I was like, I have a broadcasting degree, and I was like,
okay,
I'm not gonna do the nightly news. Like, that's never.
Well, times have changed. I'm seeing a lot after COVID. Like, you could be the new nightly news. They've been like relaxing a bit. Where can we get some real people in here?
Right. You know what? And now, like, my interests have changed. Like, I totally would love to do the nightly news, you know?
Oh, really? But, okay.
Yeah.
I would watch it, Sarah, without an H. Because H's are
yeah.
No good.
H's are yeah.
Who needs an H?
Right?
Okay. So what was your first gig? Did somebody like recommend you? How do you get into voiceover if you went out to not be a newscaster?
You guys, well, first of all, I will say that I still feel like the like new kid. Like, I've been doing this for 15 years, but I still feel like I do panels like this, and I'm like, why did they ask me? Like, these two are amazing. You know,
I feel the same way though. I just unpacked my suitcase, like my proverbial suitcase. Like, I guess I'm a professional voice actor forever.
Right? They keep hiring me, so I guess I do this thing.
I know. But so I still feel, but I like that. I think that like keeps like an energy about it and
Mm.
whatever. But no, I was doing comedy, and an agent was like at the show and was like, "You ever thought about doing voiceover? Because like, you know, people that are good improvisers tend to be really good." Like
Yes.
voice actors.
Yep.
And I was like, bro, I just moved to town. I haven't thought about anything. So yeah, like whatever. And so I had a really like one of those annoying stories that's like not helpful at all. Cause I was just like doing a crazy improv show and like got an agent. And then my first job was a Diet Dr. Pepper commercial.
Yes.
And I was the voice of Brownie. And I said, I'm just nuts about you, Diet Dr. Pepper. And that was it.
She was famous.
The rest is history.
Fantastic.
So that was it. And then
That's awesome.
You just do other stuff. You just keep doing other jobs. And then you're like, oh, like you said, Mela, like you're like, I guess I do this now. I guess this is my job.
I feel that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mela, what is your origin story? How on earth did you get to where a microphone is the thing you do?
Wow. My mother was in Air Force Diplomatic Service. I moved 26 times before I was 21.
Heck yes.
Wow.
I spoke quite clearly growing up, very similar to a certain character I play. And I was this very serious child, and I wouldn't talk because I sounded funny. So I didn't think I did voices, but so I wasn't going to be beaten up on the playground. I would really listen to where I was and try to
sound like that place. Yeah.
And then like code switch when I went home. And people always said, you know, you should do. Is that me? Who's sorry, I'm like there's a bunch of noise.
I hear it.
I can hear it.
I don't know what
just
it was.
Blame it on me since I was a problem.
It's okay. No, it wasn't you. And so I was told I should do voiceover, but I was busy studying math and economics. And I don't know.
You spent time as an investor, yeah?
I did.
Yes.
I did.
Big independent firm?
It was an independent firm. Our main clients were Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, and UBS Warburg. So
were you in for 2009?
I was.
You were out for 2009?
No, I mean I was in the middle. I thought you're breaking up just a little. I was in the middle of all of that.
So you were in the midst of it when Lehman Brothers went under, when Bear Stearns. Holy, you and I should go. We should go out for dinner.
And the most interesting thing about when you first get that job that makes you crumb loads of money, you're like, I made it. I'm going to make crumb loads of money forever. It never occurs to you that this is very temporary.
Oh, very.
So I was so prepared for Hollywood when the time came because they hadn't paid us. They were like, look, we're not going to pay you this week or this month. We're going to pay you quarterly. So come January, we hadn't been paid since October.
What?
And come January, they said, we're going to pay you quarterly, but that means April. And we're like, that would be 6 months without a paycheck. So they're like, just keep using the company credit cards for everything. Well, we did.
Holy cow.
And then then it was like April 1st, obviously a great day.
Yeah.
And they said, it's in the payroll system. So it's going to take 2 weeks. And so it was April 13th. And they were shredding the desk to the left and the right of me. People hadn't come.
Yep.
And I just had that feeling like I was on the Titanic.
Yep.
I flashed my drive in case the SEC had questions. And then I walked to my car and I was in absolute silence all day Saturday. And it was a bi-coastal firm. So we had an office in LA and in New York, but I was in LA at that time. And I sat in silence for 2 straight days. Thinking, what am I going to do? I want to go to law school. You can't file bankruptcy. And then the phone rang and somebody said, hey, Mella, and it was the director for an ADR, a very specific ADR group that specializes in medical, legal, and finance terminology and like really technical stuff. I know you're probably busy tomorrow, but is there any way that you could come work on a series where I need some investment banking terminology?
No freaking way.
And I was like,
Turns out I'm available. So what had you done to get your name in the hat? Like that phone call is about one of the most miraculous things I've ever heard.
Well,
Yeah.
I had done some voiceover and anime. Ironically, there was an engineer for an anime that I was doing, and he said, "Look, I gave your name to an ADR director. He's probably going to call you." And what was ironic, I was like, "Really?" Because I heard, you make good money. And like 18 months later, it was like, "Hey, this is so and so. Did Sean tell you I was going to call?" And inside, I was like, 18 months ago.
18 months ago, yeah.
So my job, for 2009, 2010 was anime, parking cars for Valet of the Dolls because I can paddle ship a Ferrari because my boss drove a Ferrari.
I love this.
Serving food, selling stuff on eBay.
Oh my gosh.
I was just trying to pay off $98,000 in debt.
That's it, huh?
Like almost 50,000 of it was credit cards from the company, because if you're a co-signer, then you're next. So they weren't paying, so it was up to us. And then I just had student loans, which you can't get rid of. You can't file those. They're just yours forever. Everybody.
They are yours forever. Yep.
And so I just was hustling, and then I was in this show called Vampire Night. And they said, "You want to go to Comic-Con?" And I was such a newbie. I was like, "They sell comics? Sure. You're giving me a room at the Hyatt? That's pretty cool." I don't know why. And so my friend Walter, who's the Black Power Ranger, was like, "Mella, are you in this show? Why didn't you tell me you're in this show?" And I thought, because you're Walter and you're a dude, like, who watches Vampire Night? I'm thinking it's like a niche. And he said, "Turn around." And I didn't notice because I was in my own little bubble, and there was this little camera in front of me, and I thought they're going to archive me and my two co-stars signing. And I turned back, and there was this huge jumbotron of me signing, and I was like, "What?" And a line outside of the building, and he turns and he goes, "See, your character's on our backpacks," because they give you these free backpacks. Yeah. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, because I'm a little bit of an analyst. So like nose to the grind, pay off the bills. I wasn't really paying attention. I loved anime and voiceover because they always have a really cool craft service spread, which is food for those of you that aren't in the entertainment industry. And they'd be like, "Hey, if you want these apples and bananas, we're just going to throw them away." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, can I have some oatmeal and some emergency? And I mean, a bag of nuts." What? I lived on craft service from anime.
Oh, I love it.
So at this point, for them to say, "Would you like to go to Hyatt?" And it's like on the water. I got an email that said, "Do you want to go to London Comic-Con, Sydney, Melbourne, and New Zealand?" And I didn't even have a website. They're like, "And we saw that you had a band and you sing. Could we fly the band out? Because we need someone to play." And I was like, "Okay, Nigerian prince, like, well, is this a real email?" So I spent like 2 years traveling around the world. My first convention was like Comic-Con. My second one was like, it was like I felt like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where I got one of those last golden tickets. Everybody's funny, everybody's amazing. Newsflash and voiceover. Everyone that was at that table that was a geek or wasn't like super popular, like we took over the world. The whole industry's ours. So that's all amazing. The people that you were ever friends with. So I get excited when I talk about the fact that, guys, when COVID happened, not that I want COVID again, but I had already been to the end of the world once, and it turned out amazing.
Yeah.
So there was this kind of weird giddiness as the end of the world came. It's like, what kind of cool career change am I going to have now? And we still worked from home. Everyone was so kind. Yeah. The Apex crew and the Mortal Kombat crew were all really tight. So it was just like having, your crew when you got to fight against the odds.
No, your story, obviously. So I used to manage money, went through 2007, 8, 9, was living in a single bedroom apartment with 2 kids, 1 kid in the closet, 1 kid in the hallway in Pomona, California, watching the market go down every single day. Rachel's dad got cancer. So we packed up everything, bought a house in North Carolina. And before we moved in, he died. Agent Orange from serving in Vietnam. And it was during 2009 when, things were, Bank of America's trading for under $1 a share. Mm-hmm. Like, the world that we lived in. And
I was brushing my teeth in a friend's pool house because they had like a bar sink and a toaster oven. And so I lived in someone's changing room for their pool house for a year.
Yeah. No, I totally, we were, it was my life savings was all I had left to buy that house in North Carolina. And then the market went to hell in a handbasket. And the same thing happened again in 2011 when the government played chicken with the debt ceiling.
Yeah.
And they're like, what if we just don't pay the interest on U.S. debt? Like, that's not a big deal, right? And then S&P downgraded the U.S. Anyway, I ended up living out of my Toyota Prius in Williston, North Dakota, and during the oil boom, and ended up like helping people build their companies from scratch, because like the greatest minds in America who were all downtrodden it's like the coolest group of people in America all ended up in Williston, North Dakota, because the only thing we had in common is that we had nothing left to lose, and this was the greatest opportunity in the last 20 years. So yeah, that's really...
So everyone that's listening, I'm the patron saint of second chances, and it looks like the rest of everyone here too. Please give the universe permission to surprise you.
Yep.
In the darkest part of our longest night, we find colors of the rainbow somehow. So please know that at the end of my rainbow was Richard Epcar, Sara Cravens. Like I get to work with these people, and I was brushing my teeth in like my whole place was about as big as where I'm sitting in
your booth. Yeah.
Right now.
That's very cool. Richard, so it's for those who didn't go to the Loop-On panel, how on earth did you become one of the most recognized names in this industry? You're a freaking legend.
Oh, thank you. After both of your stories, I'm so depressed. I don't want to talk about anything.
I know it must be depressing being an absolute legend and an icon in an industry. My heart goes out to you, Richard.
Can you just follow me around from now on, please?
We can. We totally can. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Can be arranged.
I got into this business. I actually started out to be an actor, and I always knew I was going to be an actor. And I came to LA to be an on-camera actor, and I did a bunch of soaps and TV shows and that sort of thing. And then my wife, Ellen Stern, who was at the time my girlfriend, did a movie, and the people had another movie that they did, and they didn't like the voices in the movie, so they wanted to replace the voices in the movie. So they asked her if she'd come in and audition. She said, "Can I bring my boyfriend," who was me at the time? And they said, "Sure." And the guy said, "Have you ever done this before?" I said, "I've done it a million times. I never did it before in my life." And I went in there, and I got the lead in this movie and replaced the guy's voice. And the reason was because like Mella and maybe like Sarah, I'm not sure, but like Mella, I'm musical. I'm a drummer. And I find that people that are musical, particularly in dubbing, not so much in the voice.
Richard, I'm from the South. We all sing in church.
Everybody.
Yeah.
She worked at Dollywood.
That's true. She did work at Dollywood.
I worked at Opryland Kids Club.
Yes. So anyway, because of that, I just kind of took to it like a duck to water. And I did that for a while, and they really liked me. And they put me in a bunch of shows. And from that, I got into Robotech, which I don't know if anybody remembers Robotech, but it was one of the first animes that was on network television.
Yeah, it really broke through.
It really broke through. And we were doing this thing at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunset Boulevard, and we're going, this thing is never going to see the light of day. Well, it blew up, and people went nuts over it. And to this day, I have people coming up to me asking me about Robotech. Yeah. So it's crazy. And then from then, I just never stopped working. And I've been doing this for years. And it's been going on. It's been great. And it gets better every year. It's just unbelievable.
I love your story so much. I never get tired of hearing that, like, your confidence and just looking him in the eye, like, many, many times. First time. I've done it many times that I will after this.
I figured, what do I have to lose? Right?
Nothing. No, I think that's, Mella's talking about lessons we should take home. And I what I love about your story is that you do have to do the work, but so much of where you get in your life is your belief that you can get there. And when you told that guy you could do it, in your heart of hearts, you were ready to step in front of the microphone. And
honestly, I even though I said to him I knew I could do it, I felt like I knew I could do it.
Yeah.
Right.
And an opportunity, a lot of times when opportunity comes up, you have to have the wherewithal to back
be ready
up.
to act. Yeah.
Be ready when you get that opportunity. So that's why I recommend to people that want to be in this business that they train a little bit and work on it and get to be the best they can be before they start going out there and trying to, an audition and all that stuff.
Yeah, you only get one time to make a first impression.
Yes.
Yeah, we get a ton of folks who come hang. I think it's a really neat way to meet somebody that you think does an awesome job at doing what you want to do. So we get a lot of folks that are aspiring actors to come hang out on Colorworld Live. And every now and then they'll say, "Oh, I can do this thing really well," and instantly the actor will turn around and go, "Okay, I want to hear you do that thing." And that's that moment where, if that person's a director, that's kind of your audition.
Yeah.
Right. Like in that moment, you really have to be prepared to shoot your shot. Man, fantastic. Richard,
I was going to add something, Brad. If you,
please,
go ahead. No, I was going to say the other thing, because it is your moment for the director, but I always say you can't cash a check without your signature. So if you're going to have one moment, don't let it be being an imitation of someone else.
Oh, yeah.
So even if you can do something, add you to it.
Yeah.
Add what makes you special, your point of view, who you are, your culture, your age, anything that makes it specifically you, so that you're not just saying, I can sound like someone who already made it.
Yep.
Give them your signature so that they can cash the check.
Oh, that's
they don't want. You were about to ask me something, Brad.
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, now I have to think. But I will say, Mela, your point. We have somebody that has been around Colorworld for a long time and has huge aspirations of being an actress. And so many times I feel like, look, you are a Latina woman. Like be that, right? Like there's a whole Spanish dubbing industry that exists out there in which content is ending up in Spanish. It is the number 2 language in America. Like don't be afraid to be you. Like that's fine that these people inspire you. But when you go into the booth, like speak your native language, be comfortable. Don't add translating it into English in your head as another thing that you have to do. Like just be who you are, and you will find the company, the director, the project that's looking for who you are. Like be an actress, great. Let these people inspire you, great. But when you step into the booth, you should be who you are. And that will be someone's going to be looking for the thing that you are, but don't be too busy being something that you're not, that they miss you for who you are.
The epicenter of the earthquake is your authenticity. That's what shakes people up.
That's what gets you the job too. Your own uniqueness is what you bring to the table. If you're trying to impersonate somebody or do a voice that we've heard a million times, nobody's going to care about that. But if you bring what it is about you that makes it unique, that's going to put you in another category altogether.
Yep. Okay, Richard, video game versus storytelling. When you step into that booth, do you have a different preparation?
Storytelling. What do you mean?
Okay, well, so they've added quite a bit of storytelling to Mortal Kombat.
The games that I'm working on now are so well written, and Mortal Kombat especially, the writing is so fantastic, and they do such a good job. And a lot of these games now, they're using, film writers and screenwriters and stuff like that. And the writing is phenomenal. And when they write a great part for you, it makes it much easier as an actor to play that part than if they, we've all done our share of shows that aren't so great, and those take more talent to try to bring that up to snuff than something that's really beautifully crafted and beautifully written, because then it all comes together and it just really gels. But there's some of the best writers in the business now are writing for video games.
Now, do you? I'm a sports guy. If I'm walking into the booth and I know that in this game I'm going to be beating, punching, kicking, flying through the air, do you get hype before you go into the booth? Like, what's your preparation process for Raiden as opposed to, being something in Lupin?
I kind of liken it to when you go to a swimming pool. And there's the people that kind of stick their one toe in and try to see if it's cold or not. You can't do that in what we do. You have to kind of jump in the pool, and you have to jump in the pool every time, because if you hesitate, you're lost. And when I play these characters, I have to, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You have to cold read a performance because we don't see the script until we go into that booth. So you really have to become those characters while you're playing them. And for me, Raiden is a real good fit.
Good.
He's a very good fit for me, and it's like putting on a very comfortable coat playing Raiden, because I just really I live there. So for me, it's really he's an extension of myself in many ways. So it's not that difficult. Whereas you're doing other characters, sometimes it can be more difficult, but it just depends on the character. But the one thing I do, and I'm sure all that Sara and Mela does as well, is I make sure my instrument is warmed up before I go in the booth.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important. Make sure you're warmed up and ready to go before you go in that booth, before you start.
Yeah, I mean, physically, definitely important, because when you're a relaxed body, you're not going to strain. Because a lot of people, even when they come to ask, they're like, I can make a voice. You couldn't do that for 8 hours.
Right.
And, kids will go out and play on the playground and scream their lungs out. And in the history of never, unless they're sick, they'll never come back with a sore throat.
Right.
So when you are relaxed and you are dedicated, and you're like what Richard says, not just dipping your toe. If you're all in, your body, we're very primal instruments. You can resonate and you don't hurt your voice. So you want to be warmed up. You want to be stretched out. Kids are naturally just limber and everything, but they teach us a lot that if you kind of are pretending and you're not all in, you can actually hurt your instrument.
Yes. And that's very true in football. I am very much a football guy. I absolutely, what I love about it is that the guy who wants it more is going to win. And that a sport like basketball, there's so much skill involved. You have to take a ball, you have to put it in a very specific place. But in football, if you hit him harder than he hits you, you keep going forward and he's on the ground. And I love that, what you just said about you either bring your A game or you get hurt. And that is honestly how injuries happen during practice, is that some guy's half-assing it and then the other guy's going full go. That guy's just fine. The guy that half-assed it, half of his ass is on the ground now.
And you wouldn't show up for a football game and just jump in and start playing. You warm up.
A lot of preparation.
Around, you get limber, you loosen up. You do whatever you need to do to get your body ready to go to play the game. And that's exactly what we do.
Mela, do you
to go before we jump in the booth?
Are you physical at all? Like, do you ever find yourself, Mela, like that you just want to punch, you want to like reach something out, and just like tell me about your process when you're Jade, when you're in there, when you're punching, when you're kicking, do you get fired up?
It was really powerful for Jade because I was recovering from a car accident where I had several back fractures and neck fractures. And so I'm very much into neuroplasticity. And, sometimes I'd be in physical therapy and they'd say, if you can't finish your reps physically, you have to finish them in your brain.
Mentally.
Because your brain is finishing. And so, while I was like fresh off walking with a cane even, I'm starting to do Mortal Kombat and I'm imagining myself, I have Boss Rutan's a friend and Majid Rais, all these MMA friends that are like helping me heal because they redefine impossible all the time. And so they were teaching me moves and I would watch what they were doing and the fluidity of how they heal and how they fight. And when I was Jade, it's like, even if you can't, because you can't physically be super moving because you'll make noise.
Right. Yep.
But as Jade, I was very aware of the moves that she was making and how my breath control would be.
Yeah.
And it was very powerful because from starting Jade to ending was that time of me recovering from that accident.
That's
and becoming, because I was imagining myself as this warrior goddess, who was about to, be something and do something and be very powerful. And even in my breath control, it wasn't like, if you listen to Jade, she's like a little bit guttural. Like I just imagined I had all this power inside of me. And it was good to redefine possible in my own mind of what I was capable of, like being this monstrous fighter. Even
I love it.
Delicate and lovely.
Okay, Sara.
Guys, if you can hear me for 2 seconds, I'm so sorry. I've literally ruined this panel.
No, you're good. I organized the questions.
True.
I organized the questions, and we literally are to you now. So now
I'm so just so everybody knows, I'm literally out of town for a
You're
funeral. and
you're
so
fine.
I'm jumping on, and
It's
like,
2021. It's the
It
internet.
is.
You're good. We're
You've
so
found a great
flexible.
angle.
You're
Yeah.
fine.
It's
You're doing really
terrible.
good.
So I'm so
You're
sorry.
fine.
But what do you got? I love
Okay.
What do you got? Go for it, Brad.
You guys talk about
All right, ask
authenticity, which I
Sarah a
love.
question.
Yeah, we're right to you. You literally popped on just in my head. I'm just telling the universe. I just need Sarah when it's her turn, and we're good. So it's your turn. Looking at your bio, Frost seems a little to one side versus the other things that you've done. Tell me about your experience. Tell me, how does the jokester end up such a bad bitch? Like, tell me about the process. Tell me about like what goes through your head when you're in your booth. Tell me about you and Frost.
I love the way that you asked that too. That you were like, Frost is like to this side.
Yeah.
You know, so here's the thing. And I want to, I'm sure this was said before talking about authenticity, but like, that's literally what I tell everybody. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
waiting on every word.
So I've always had this really, really deep voice. Okay. And not cool as a young girl.
Yeah,
that's like,
I feel that.
embarrassing. Like it's not cool. Like that is the reason that I work now. So I think with Frost in particular, it's for me the fun of like diving into something that's so different than yourself and being like and all like improv training of just being like what can I do with her that's so unlike me in my regular life and have the most fun with being the baddest on the block. And that's it. That's what I love about her.
She's like, boom.
It really, I was watching so much playthrough to get ready and get a sense of like, how does this differ from the previous versions that I played as a kid? And I love it's so over the top. I'm sure you all, as you're seeing the visual images, are like, wow. But I love that. So your health meter goes down. There's, down. Then you get that 30% bonus when you're in your, man, I forget what it's called, but it like lights up red, and then everything you do is like 30% more powerful than when you hit them before. And then like you'll win the round. And I love that the character gets up and they're like cracking their neck, and they're like, even though their like spine just got ripped out in the second. And I almost like that metaphor of it doesn't matter what life throws at you, like a simple crick in the neck, get ready, stretch it out because there is another round. Have you, Mela, you're a deep thinker. Have you ever played Mortal Kombat and just thought about like, what does it mean to get up after the kind of defeats that you see in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, I mean, I do. My mother was in the medical field, so sometimes it's anatomically so correct. It's jarring. But
yeah, vertebrae.
I mean,
okay.
Yeah, got it. Oh, okay. I think it's really, it is like Immortal Kombat is what it should be called. And I mean, we don't always get another chance. So you go for it.
Yeah.
You go for it. But I love the idea of gaming because, you do get to squat up. You have the fighter games and it's you and you get to see how you would be across from someone else. And as a woman, I know sometimes video games get kind of a bad rap of how they treat women. I'm like, but nothing I think has been greater in the entertainment industry to redefine women's roles than gaming. Because especially when you're fighting or you have to squat up, it's like we now have to stand side by side with people that look very different from us.
That's true.
That have different value sets from us. There's an expectation of camaraderie and power from every people group, and it's really fascinating to watch. And as Jade, I love that she had her qualities about her, but she's I think as fighters go, she's a bit of a lady, but don't let that fool you. She's outcome oriented. And fierce. And I really liked that. about her.
Richard, you got to play. They did some DLCs for Mortal Kombat and brought in folks from outside of the universe. Was that hype for you to get to do characters outside of Raiden in the same universe?
You mean talking about the Joker?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the Joker was a lot of fun, and it's especially fun when I'm doing Raiden and the Joker together, and they're talking together, and it's just really fun. And it, every day people still come up to me and go, "I can't believe you do both of those characters." In fact, the people at NetherRealm Studio told me next time I'm in Chicago, they want me to come to the studio because there's people that work there that don't believe.
Oh, that's awesome!
So I have to go there and I have to do both voices for them to show them. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. I love both of those characters. They're both really kind of yin and yang. Raiden is a very honorable, noble character, and then you have the Joker, who's really a despicable, horrible character.
Yeah.
And so it's really kind of fun to play both of those characters because there's so much of a difference between those two, and it's kind of nice. It's nice. I get to play the villain and the hero, so it's kind of
like what's that like? Just being an icon, Richard. Just like that's pretty amazing.
Well, it's we don't think about that. We just go in and do the work, and we plunge into it and go ahead. But I've been very, very fortunate. I've had a lot of wonderful characters I've got to play over the years. And, like I say, it gets better every year. I keep getting these new wonderful characters to play. And I love it because, I'm an actor. I'm a stage trained actor. I come from the stage. I've done film and television, all that other stuff. And I really love playing all these different characters. For me, it's really fun. I really like that. And I think I really like about voice acting is that you can be any character that you can vocally imagine. Whereas on camera, you're more relegated to the way you appear. But when you're doing voiceover, you can be anybody as long as you can create it vocally. So to me, that's almost more creative in a way,
Now,
so
Richard, when are we going to get Mortal Kombat the stage play? When are we going to see
Mortal Kombat the musical? We have to do that.
Yeah, can we get that? I feel like I watched the first movie. And I was so excited that they didn't screw it up.
Yeah.
Like Annihilation did not go as well as the first one.
You're talking about the very first movie?
The very first Mortal Kombat movie.
The very first movie, I worked on that, if you can believe that.
Oh, wow.
I actually did voice
you guys heard it here.
With Ed Boon. Ed Boon was doing voice work on that as well. So we both
That's incredible.
Isn't that nuts? And who would know that, I don't know how many years later, 30 years later, whatever it is, I would be doing Raiden for the game. It's really kind of bizarre, but it's all these like Mella was talking about, all these little things kind of connect together, and it's interesting. It's interesting how it works.
Now, do you play the Joker in Injustice and in Mortal Kombat?
I do.
Now, is there a different? Do they treat the Joker any different in the two different games, or does he occupy the same space in both games?
He's treated pretty much the same way. I mean, when we did the original game that I did with Raiden and the Joker was Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe.
Okay.
And that was the first one, and that was about 12, 13 years ago.
Oh,
and I've been playing these characters ever since, thank God. But he does change a little bit depending on the game, and because I know the second game they wanted me to be more real, whereas the first one I was a little more
crazy,
a little more presentational kind of a character. Than the second one, they wanted him more real. And then it just depends on if you look at the different illustrations of him, he changes quite a bit from game to game. So it depends on how they've created him. You kind of have to adapt to the way he looks. If you know what I'm saying. So
now
it's fun. It's fun to play. He's a great iconic character, and it's a joy to play him, and an honor. It's an honor to play both those characters.
Now, Sarah, you did they call you or did you call them? How do you get hooked up? How do you become Frost? Because look, let's be realistic. There's so much content that's being produced at this point that sometimes if a director feels that they can trust you, they just simply cast you for the role and ask you to come in. So did you get auto cast or did you audition for Frost?
So I definitely auditioned, I'm on my literally fourth device, and I think this one's not dropping.
Okay.
I like family members are coming in and like, try this one.
Try this one. Try this one.
Look at you flossing, Sarah. She's like, I'm on my fourth device.
Come on. I know, and none of them work.
Give me another one. Give me another one. Give me another one.
So I did Power Girl and Injustice, and so
Yes.
I knew the team from that,
Another
and
one. Yep.
the Sean Kittleson, who wrote all of my lines as Power Girl, was as we were recording, Power Girl was writing Frost.
Wow.
Go universe.
As everybody that is in games knows, like we're, as you're recording one and one's coming out, another one's being written, another one, it's years of the process. So so that was a really cool, and talk about another moment where like you as an actor who's always feeling like the new kid and always feeling like, like, oh, what? Like, it was crazy to me that like someone was like, as we were writing this character, we kind of had your voice in our head.
Yes.
Awesome.
Which was awesome. And so, I think that helped too. And since they had met me with Power Girl, and like Power Girl, so like I find her very like funny, and like I loved her lines so much. And so they trusted me to give me a grittier, meaner, like rougher character, with like no comedy. Like Frost is not comedy. Frost is just like killer. So they, so a little of both, I think. I still had to audition, and I had no idea, like when it came to me, it was just like any other audition that was in a code name. So I was just like, whatever, I had to spit out these lines in some choice, you just make a choice and be like, I don't know, like they don't tell me you don't know what the game is. You don't know what the character is. You don't know anything about anything. And so you're just like, if anything helped me for anything, it was my improv training, because I don't care. It doesn't faze me to not have direction. I'm just like, oh, cool, I get to make something up. Okay. But yeah, it was awesome. So cool. And so then when I came in and found out it was Mortal Kombat, I like, I cleaned my britches, and then I was like, cool, thank you. And then they told me, they were like, yeah, actually, like when we were doing Injustice, like we were writing Frost, and you kind of got in our head for it.
Fantastic. So did you have experience with Power Girl before Injustice?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I thought she was like rad. No, not
a comic book reader.
No. So my brother was a big like comic book video game. So I had very like peripheral experience with like all kinds of like nerddom. So that was awesome. So
did he geek out? Did he geek out at all?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like we're Southern, like you don't geek out about your own family. You're just like, whatever. And he's like, yeah, that's all right. That's pretty cool.
You're never a prophet in your own house, Sarah.
No. My goodness. No. My entire family is like a great, oh, that's cool. That little thing, like we don't really get that, but let me tell you something like crazy she did when she was little. Like there's nothing phases them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I will single-handedly find a way to. So like MechaCon, I've got 2 kids with me, right? And so I noticed that some people are like parking in the alley across from the fire door where we can get in and out. So I'm like, I'll just park there. Somebody will tell me if I'm not. And so like all weekend long, but nobody. My wife's like, yeah, you do that kind of stuff all the time. nobody cares about your awesome parking spot. Like,
I love that. Sarah, do you remember what the name of your code name was?
I don't. Was it?
It's funny that you point that out because I had no idea. Mine was Guard A. And I had been manifesting. I wanted to be a lead in 3 AAA games. And I knew that at least I was a guard in a WB game. Like I can book that. And then I got booked. And then you have to sign all the NDAs. And then they sent the thing and it said Jade on the front. And I remember I called my friend. I'm like, is it just me or is Jade? Is there another Jade?
Does anyone
Jade?
Jade?
Yes. So I'm so glad you said that because I didn't remember, but it didn't indicate. I do know it didn't indicate she was a lead because I'm really good friends with Amanda Wyatt, who directed us in that. And so when they cast it, Amanda actually called me and she was like, "Hey girl, you ready for something?" And I was like, "What?"
It sounds just like her.
I was like, "What?" Right. And as is normal for me, like people get more of a Southern accent when they're around me. But anyway, she was like, "Hey girl, hey, you want me to tell you something?" And I was like, "What? What is this?" And she was like, you'll get a call from your agents. But she was like, "You're Frost." And I was like, "What?" And she goes, You're Frost in Mortal Kombat." And I was like, "Shut up, girl." I was like, "I didn't even audition for that." And she was like, "Yes, you did. You didn't know that's what it was." And I was like, "I think it was like Project Nashville or something, whatever." And she was like, "No, it was Project this." And I was like, "No, I was like,
funny.
Fighter B or something." And she was like, that was it.
Oh, Richard, do you remember your code name?
Mike, I don't think I had a code name.
I don't think they code names when you got cast because you're an original, right?
But my audition for Mortal Kombat was amazing because I was called in by Bridget Burdine, who was a lovely, lovely lady who cast a lot of stuff and unfortunately passed away since then. But she called me in, and when I went in there, they had Warner Brothers and DC Comics, and they had NetherRealm on the line.
Oh, man.
And they said to me, basically, "We want you to read all the characters for Mortal Kombat, and we want you to read all the characters for DC Comics." So for me, it was like the most fun audition I've ever been on in my life.
Yeah.
It was like I was like a kid in a candy shop, you know?
Yeah.
I was doing Batman and Superman and doing all the different. It was so much fun. And then when I did the Joker was so bizarre. I'd never tried to do him before, but this crazy voice came out of me, and the laugh came out of me. And it was like so much fun. It was almost like another otherworldly experience.
Yeah.
And and then I did Raiden. I loved Raiden too. And then when I was walking out the door, Bridget said to me, she said, "Who would you like to be?" And
who did you say?
She said, "They like you for everybody, but who would you like to be?" I said, "Well, and the thing is, the actor never gets to choose who they want to be. It's always the producers." So I said, "Well, I love doing Raiden and I love doing the Joker. Those were my 2 favorites." And literally, like 2 or 3 days later, they called up and they booked me for both those parts, and it was amazing. But for whatever reason, I felt some sort of a connection with those 2 characters when I did them. So,
That's awesome.
It is.
How many times have you thought about
Frost, Richard?
Have you ever thought, Richard, about like how what if you said something else in that moment?
Well, I don't think that it was dependent upon what I wanted, to be honest with you. She was just asking me.
Oh, I think you were probably so good at everything. They were like, whatever he wants, just
just give him first
They were
pick.
like, we'll book him on his first pick and then go down the line.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Richard got his role first, and then they cast the rest of the game.
And then they brought everybody else up, and we're like, okay, now
here's what's left.
You other one have a shot.
Yeah. Now that Richard's picked, you guys can choose from here. Oh, I love it.
I was very
Richard, when Amanda called me Richard, she actually was like, "Well, Richard was Frost, but he gave it up to be Raiden." So, now.
I love Amanda dearly. She is a doll, and I've worked with her for a bunch of stuff. And actually, I co-directed with Amanda on Arkham Origins. So we were the 2 directors on that Warner Brothers, and it's so much fun for me. First of all, for me to walk on the Warner Brothers lot and play the Joker on the Warner Brothers lot. I mean,
Holy
that's
cow.
really cool for me. I just
Yeah.
really get a kick out of that. But we directed a Batman game on the Warner Brothers lot, Amanda and I. And to work on something Batman on the Warner Brothers lot is
dope.
It's just really something, I think.
Very cool.
Yeah. Plus,
Well,
I get a commissary, which is my favorite part of going to Warner Brothers.
It's the food. The food.
Oh, I miss that, you guys. It still is a pinch me moment anytime you go on to Warner Brothers lot. But I look forward to all of us like sharing a burrito.
I know.
Outside in that courtyard looking down Main Street. Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
My favorite thing to do at Warner Bros. for all of these is like if I was like the morning session, I would like ask who was and then I'd like write like a real rude note to whoever was like after me in it, because they'd be like, of course Cravens left this for me in the booth.
I never got it out from you, Sarah. I feel left out.
Well, Richard, you request to be after me.
There you go.
And I will leave you a really mean note.
I love it.
Because Richard gets what Richard wants.
I love it.
Really rude, and then put a smiley face.
Well, I don't have access to Warner Brothers burritos, but I'll tell you, if we all end up at the same event or something SoCal, Taco Nazo is on me. If any of you have you had Taco Nazo?
No, but anything tacos, I'm in.
Oh,
Right.
bro.
I was like, but I love a taco.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. It's
Taco Nazo. I've never even heard of it.
what? Okay. Well, we have 3
What
minutes. All right, hold on. It's a Southern California. You can only get it there. I've taken my friends that are Mexican from Mexico and taken them to Taco Nazo, and they're like, I didn't even know this exists. That this white guy showed me tacos is I don't get it.
Where is it?
Hold on, I'll find the map. We'll get a map going.
Downtown East LA or Silver Lake?
Minds want to know.
Yeah. We'll put it up on the. Why is it trying to tell me? It's like because Google knows where I am, so it's like trying to show me like tacos in Iowa. All right, let me search that again.
Nothing like tacos in Iowa.
There are not taco places in Iowa, Mella. We both know that. There is one place down the
I
street.
remember ordering a taco salad in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Don't ask why I was there. And it was beef, chips, and ketchup.
Oh, wow, bro.
It sounds like my experience.
I was like,
in Amsterdam, and I was homesick. I was working on a project actually for DreamWorks, and I was in. He's showing me now, but I said I wanted to go to a Mexican restaurant. The guy sent me to a Mexican restaurant, and it was the weirdest food I've ever had in my life. And I called the guy over. I said, "Can you tell me exactly what part of Mexico this food?" I've been all over the place. I've been all over Mexico. I've been in Texas, Arizona, and I've had all kinds of Mexican food. I've never eaten anything like this.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta put on my glasses for this. What is this?
Okay, so
Taco Nazo. Where are we at? Alhambra. Okay, so
in between West Covina and Monterey Park that's on 10. I thought there was one on 210. But on 10, so there's 3 locations between
there is one off the 210 if you look up north right there, the 605. Yeah.
In the valley.
See it.
Let me look west. Oh, there's down here in Bellflower.
Yeah, because definitely that would be core. Anything else near us? No.
Man, no, it's Inland Empire.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's really but I don't mind picking you, like if we do Anime Expo or LA Comic Con or something, we have a Ford Transit. It's like a seats 15 or whatever. Okay. So I will shuttle everyone to one of the on 10. It is the fish tacos. I thought it was a joke, right? Because I grew up where the Ladies' Man was a Saturday Night Live skit. Yeah. And fish tacos were a joke. That was a punchline that the ladies' man would offer you a 5th taco, and that was a joke. Nobody ate 5th tacos.
Baja tacos. That's so cow, man.
Yes, exactly. So when
them.
Somebody asked, I was a manager at the Baldwin Park Walmart. Rachel was a CSM at Covina, and one of her employees was like, do you want me to take you to get some fish tacos? And she was like, is this a joke? Like, are you being rude to me? I don't know how to.
Aww.
And he's like, no, it's you're white. I will take you. You're white. Don't worry about it. And they ate it. And ever since, every year when we do Anime Expo, I will drive into the Inland Empire to have taco nazo. It's unbelievable.
Noted.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's 3:31. How did that happen?
It always does. Thank you, everyone, so much for all of your time today. It is such a pleasure to get to see everyone.
I miss
Thank
you,
you
Richard and Sarah. Meeting you.
You guys.
This is our first hangout, you guys. Everybody go away because Sarah and I are going to be like, what?
We're best friends now. And thank you for bearing with my 17 devices. Ugh.
So good to see all of you. I can't wait till we do something in person. We're definitely going to have everybody back. Richard's already, this is his second time. We're already scheming up a reason to have Mela back. And Sarah, we just have to make up the technical difficulties. So we're just going to have to.
I will.
Right.
She's got 14 phones, yo.
I know,
It's
right?
fine.
We'll have her
I
back.
know everybody in the house. So sweet. Try this.
Try this.
Oh, and a
So-
Jade line. What is it? You seem confident. Now you seem overconfident. She's like, I got 14. I'm like, which one works?
Which one?
This would be Frost. This one worked.
Good. Oh,
Physicality.
That was good.
all right, next time we'll have to play some Mortal Kombat. Like we'll have to stream playing each other on Mortal
okay.
Kombat. It'd be so much fun.
I'm
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Just button
All
mash.
hail the
Richard.
button mashers.
Just button mash.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Button mash for the win, Richard. I believe. Okay. Good to see everybody. Check your emails, obviously, for
Nice to meet
Hangouts.
you,
Okay.
Mela. Always a pleasure.
Richard,
Always.
thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Very